If you played Tarkov last wipe and you finished the high competition achievement, then you know that we were promised some guns from mechanic level 3 or 4. Everybody basically ran their favorite weapons builds, and BSG was supposed to give us weapons builds based off of who was killing the most scabs and players with those weapons. So in this video, we are going to hop into each one of these 3 weapon builds, and we're going to break them down based on cost, recoil, and ergo, and then we're going to compare them to the same weapon builds based off meta recoil and meta ergo to see if it's worth your time and hard-earned rubles buying these weapons for your raids. So let's not waste any more time and let's get into it. If you've unlocked mechanic level 4, which come on, you should have him unlocked by now, you'll notice that he's got 3 brand new weapons. The first one being the Colt M4A1 2K4. That's available for 302,000 rubles. Comes suppressed with a real nice razor sight on it that at the moment is selling for 70k, sometimes of upwards for 100k. He also has the 300 Blackout available, which is called the 2K24 as well, suppressed with the skeletonized pistol grip on it. And then for the third one, he has the MDR 2K4, which is a tough gun to get early game. So mechanic level 4 can help you bridge the gap between those task completions that come later in the game to unlock this weapon. It's also the 7.6251 version, so you'll be able to fire M80s, M62s, and the M80A1s when they are released into Tarkov. So these are the 3 new weapons available at mechanic level 4. Now let's break each one down in depth to see if Battle State Games finally got it right with pre-weapon builds, even though they're from the community, and to see whether or not they're worth bringing into raids. So we'll go ahead and buy a base M4A1 for mechanic for 18,000. Then we'll edit the build. For this meta recoil build, we are going to add the AR-15 Vitor MER1S, so a regular Stanag mag on there. We'll go with the AR-15 20-inch barrel. For the handguard, we're going to go with the AR-15 SAI 14.5-inch QD rail handguard. We're going to rock the Strike Industries Advanced Receiver Extension Buffer Tube. For the stock, we're going to go with the PRS Gen 3. For the muzzle device, we'll use the Blackout 51T flash hider. We'll pair that with the SDN6 multi-caliber sound suppressor. Make sure you throw the low pro gas block on there. Magpul 4.1-inch rails. The B10 V8 Atlas bipod on the front. The narrow arms Growless pistol grip. The RK2 tactical foregrip. For the charging handle, we're going to go with the Raptor. And then for cost testing purposes, we'll slap the Razor on there. We'll piece this together. So looking at everything we need to put this together, it already comes off the flea market and traders for a price of 453,000 rubles. Now what you'll notice is that's not counting the Razor because I already have that in my inventory. So if we give that a rough cost of 60 grand, it puts us over 500,000. So we'll go ahead and buy that. Look at that bad boy, that thing takes up some room now. All right, so comparing these guns stats wise with the gun built for a meta recoil, looking at the meta weapon on the left, the ergonomics comes in at 20. With the mechanic rifle coming in at ergo 58, both having a 101 minute of angle, the same sight range, and the gun we built beating the mechanic rifle by 13 for vertical recoil and 38 for horizontal recoil, with a slight edge for mechanic and 913 for muzzle velocity. So let's take these guns in game and see how they perform. Alright, so let's see how the recoil stacks up on both weapons. First using the mechanic level 4 weapon. So not bad recoil, just straight up and then a nice grouping. All right, and here's the weapon we built. So obviously the gun we built, the vertical recoil is a little bit less and a little bit tighter on the grouping once it comes together. Pulling out the mechanic weapon real quick again. Is it worth the extra 200k rubles for a little bit tighter recoil spread? Oh, that's up to you. Let me know in the comments below if you think it's worth it. Me personally, I don't, because recoil obviously isn't that hard to control with this weapon. Alright, so let's do the same thing again, but this time we're going to build it out from meta ergonomics and see how it stacks up against mechanic's weapon. So for this one, we're going to use the Aeronox AX15 upper receiver. We're going to use the AR15 260mm barrel, slap a low pro gas block. For the handguard, we're going to use the Magpul MOE SL carbine. Put our 4.1-inch rails on there. The Blackout 51T as well, with the SDN6. Raptor charging handle again, the Viper PDW stock, Strike Industries Cobra tactical foregrip, the Growless pistol grip again, Stanag mag, and again we'll throw the 30mm with the Razor HD on it so that we can price match comparatively. So this build comes in a little less expensive, but once again, we're leaving out the Razor sight because I already have it. So if you add another 80k to that, this will come in at around 260,000 plus 20,000 for the base M4. So we'll buy all that. All right, so comparing the stats between the weapon that we built and mechanics level 4 weapon, you can see the ergo on the gun we built coming in at 79, which is almost 20 points better than mechanics level 4 build. We lost vertical recoil, putting it at 68, with Mechanic's weapon coming in ahead, 10 lower at 58, and losing horizontal recoil as well, with the gun we built coming in at 195, and Mechanic's gun coming in at 168. There's also a difference in muzzle velocity, with the weapon we built coming in at 794, and Mechanic's weapon coming in at 913. So a visual test using Mechanic's weapon first, still pretty snappy, and then swap into the weapon we built for ergo, which is clearly a lot better with a lot less sway. So my thoughts on this: if you're building your weapons for ergo, the one we built is a lot cheaper. So if you're building your M4s for ergonomics, there isn't much advantage to purchasing the weapon off Mechanic unless you want to use this Razor Voodoo and the price of the scope is expensive. You would have to kind of look at the flea market and see what the things are selling for. Here's the recoil for that weapon. Again, not much of a difference. A little bit tighter grouping on the Mechanic weapon, but again, not much of a difference. So my thoughts on the M4: definitely really good cost basis, especially when the Vortex sight is selling for over 100K on the flea market. And if you don't use that scope, it's almost worth buying the weapon just to resell that on the flea market. And then you get a pretty cheap M4 build while getting some of your money back. Let me know in the comments below what you think about the Mechanic level 4 build. Is it worth it? And if you do something different from me with the builds, let me know in the comments below. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the Blackout, which is a little bit more costly to buy just the base version, coming in at 24K from Mechanic, so we'll have to add that into the cost. The first build we're going to do is for meta recoil. And we're going to start with the Gen 1 300 upper receiver. Throw the Growl S pistol grip on there. We have to add the MPX folding knuckle stock adapter, which allows us to put the Mesa tactical crosshair hydraulic buffer tube. And that allows us to put the precision stock on there. We may have to adjust this if we can't buy one off the flea market. For the barrel, we're going to go with the MCX 229, an MCX gas block. All right, then we're going to slap on this T-lock muzzle adapter and then add the 2-port brake. And now we can put the SRD 762 QD sound suppressor on there. Add your key mod 12-inch handguard, 4-inch rail. Throw an SI 6-inch rail on there. So you can slap on the RK2, the MCX bolt, put your folding sights on. Then we'll go ahead and add on the same sight, which is the Boss XE. We'll go ahead and assemble that. So a little bit more expensive, but not by much. Maybe by only 3,000 rubles. So we'll buy all that, assemble the weapon. So here's the Mechanic weapon over here, and here's the weapon we built. Ergonomics for Mechanic's weapon coming in at 59, which ours came in at 30. A difference in minute of angle by 3.2 to 2.75. And a vertical recoil difference of only 11. So Mechanic's weapon with 11 more vertical recoil than the one we built. And the horizontal recoil having a 30-point difference at 160 on the one we built to 190 for Mechanic's weapon. So not too bad for only a 3K difference. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Is a 3K price difference worth just buying this from Mechanic? Or should you mod your own 300 Blackout if you're building it out for recoil? All right, so recoil test for Mechanic's Blackout. Obviously straight up with a little bit of a grouping. Swap over to the weapon we built. So kind of a similarity between the M4 and this, where you get a little bit less vertical recoil and a little bit tighter of a grouping other than this one right here. So far the weapon that we built performing a little bit better as far as recoil is concerned for the same price point as just buying the weapon off of Mechanic to begin with. So let's see how the gun compares ergo wise, because it's extremely snappy versus the weapon we built being a little bit slower. So let's build out a Blackout for ergonomics and see the price point for that and whether or not it compares. Throw the Gen 1 receiver on there, give it the 171mm barrel, MCX gas block, the Growl S pistol grip, the folding knuckle stock adapter, add the Viper PDW stock, MCX bolt, the 8-inch key mod handguard, the Sig Sauer sound suppressor, throw your 6-inch key rail. Then you're just gonna add the A3 tactical key mod foregrip. Make sure you guys are using your rear and front flip up sights. Then we'll slap the Boss back on there. And we'll build that bad boy. Pretty much the same price, maybe 5,000 more. Purchase all that, build the weapon, and we'll take it in game for some testing. Now, looking at the stats built for meta ergo versus the Mechanic weapon. The Mechanic weapon coming in at 59 ergo. The weapon we built coming in at 75. So a 16-point jump there. Minute of angle being the same. Vertical recoil having a difference of 69 versus 86. So you're losing about a 17-point difference in vertical recoil there. And then you're losing about a 49-point difference on horizontal recoil. So you're paying about 20K more for worse recoil, but obviously better ergo. So let's see how the gun performs in game. All right, so here we are on interchange testing out the ergo. Now this is the Mechanic pre-built weapon, pretty snappy. Swap on over to the one we built specifically for meta ergo. And I don't see much of a difference, even though it's a big point difference. Again, here's Mechanic weapon. Here's the weapon we built. I mean, maybe less weapon sway, as you ADS. It's the only real difference I could tell with my eye. Let me know in the comments below if you think either one is better. And then just testing out the recoil real quick. Pre-built weapon versus the weapon we built. A lot less of a grouping and a lot worse on the vertical recoil, but we obviously knew that coming in. So yeah, I mean, they're both pretty snappy. I do see the difference there with the weapon we built, especially when strafing. You got a much cleaner ADS speed with less sway. So let me know in the comments below, guys, based on how you're building your weapons, whether it's for recoil, whether it's for ergonomics, which weapon do you think performed better? And do you think it's worth it? Because there's not much of a price difference on these weapons. All right, so last but not least, let's get in to the MDR, shall we? Now, here's the thing about the MDR is I don't believe we could buy this off the flea market. So basically what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to strip. So that right there is a good reason to buy this off of Mechanic, because it's a hard gun to get until you complete the tasks that unlock it, which is what I assume is what happens, because I obviously don't have this unlocked yet, so I can't buy one. But it looks like the base version for Peacekeeper comes in at $1,200 US. Then obviously the one you can buy from Mechanic for $290K. So luckily for the purposes of this video, I have two of these. So what we'll do is we'll strip this one and we'll build it out for meta ergo and meta recoil. So we'll throw the MDR black handguard on there, hit him with the 4.1 inch rail, the RK2 tactical foregrip, 16-inch barrel, the CAT QDC flash suppressor kit, PRS QDC suppressor, an MDR black pistol grip. Slap both the folding and rear folding sights on. Then we'll use the exact same sight, the EOTech EXPS3. We'll assemble the weapon, and we got everything but the front sight, so we'll just add $27. So $53K. Again, the price is going to be a little bit skewed because we can't buy the base weapon, but we will be able to assemble the weapon and see how it stacks up against its counterpart. All right, so this weapon was built for recoil, with Mechanic's gun coming in at 56 ergo versus the gun we built at 48, so not much of a difference there. A difference between 0.01 MOA, same sighting range. Now look at this. The vertical recoil, not much different. With a meta recoil gun, you're only gaining 2 for vertical recoil, and you're only gaining 4 for horizontal recoil. So not that big of a difference. It probably has a lot to do with the MDR not really having not many customizable options. Here we are in game testing out the recoil for each weapon. Here's the Mechanic level 4 build. And here's the gun we built. I mean, not much of a difference, but definitely airs towards the side of the gun we built, with a little bit less of a jump off the vertical recoil and a little bit tighter of a grouping. Now for the ergo, with the Mechanic weapon, and the ergo with the gun that we built. So a little bit slower on the one we built, but we didn't build this for ergonomics. So let's build a gun for ergo and see if there's any difference. All right, so let's build this thing out for meta ergo and see what we can come up with. Throw the MDR black handguard on there. 4.1 inch rail, Strike Industries Cobra tactical foregrip, 16-inch barrel, slap on the Blackout 51T flash hider with the SDN6 multi-caliber sound suppressor, and the MDR black pistol grip. We'll leave the folding stocks off. We'll slap the EXPS3 back on there. We'll assemble that bad boy and we'll check the stats. Mechanic level 4 build on the left and the gun we built on the right. We are only gaining 1 ergo. So again, not much of a difference there. Vertical recoil only being 1 point off, and horizontal recoil only being 3 points off. So again, not much of a difference with the MDR. But again, let's take these in game to see if there's any noticeable difference. So here we are in game with Mechanic's build, ergo test. The gun we built, ergo test. So as far as ADS speed, not much of a difference, but again, there is a slight difference between sight picture and not having that sway. Not too much of a noticeable difference, but still it's you know, it is there. Again, gonna be situational on whether or not you buy this one. Let me know in the comments below if you think it's worth it or if you think there's any difference. There's vertical recoil with Mechanic's weapon. And there's vertical recoil with the weapon that we built. Hey, are you a beginner to Tarkov or are you struggling? Well, then click this video up here, because in this one I help you get over Tarkov's learning curve and give you some tips and tricks that'll help you improve your Tarkov game. Are you interested in seeing what's behind those locked reft hideout rooms? Then click this video right here where I run Grumpy's key 5 times to see what's behind that door. Guys, I hope you found value in this video. If you did, please click the like button, smash the subscribe button, and turn on the bell notification so you can stay tuned for future videos. There's a lot more coming on this channel. I've linked all my streaming links in the description of the video below, and I will see you in the next one.